I would like to welcome everyone to the Community College of Baltimore County. I would like to welcome everyone to VMware vSphere Installation, Configuration, and Management. My name is Dan Whitaker, and I will be your instructor in this online course. Let's do the course introduction. In this course introduction, we will look at the purpose of the course, the topics that we will be covering, the format of the class, grading, and what you need to do to get started. Let's start out with the purpose of the course. The purpose of the course is to enable the student, to enable you to install, configure, manage, maintain, and troubleshoot a virtual network infrastructure using VMware vSphere. This course is designed for students pursuing a career as network administrators or network engineers in a virtualized data center. And this course helps students prepare for the VMware vSphere certification exam. So this course is all about VMware vSphere. So what is VMware vSphere? VMware vSphere is an infrastructure virtualization suite that does the following. Provides virtualization management, resource optimization, and aggregates physical hardware resources and provides virtual resources to the data center. In other words, VMware vSphere is the software that allows you to control and coordinate the data center servers and the cloud servers. Let's compare this to Windows 7. Windows 7 is not a computer. Windows 7 is an operating system that allows you to manage and control a single computer. Similarly, VMware vSphere is an operating system. It's a piece of software that allows you to manage and control data center servers and cloud servers. The name of the company is VMware, and the software is called vSphere. And many of you are here for the VMware Certified Professional Certification. Let's now look at the course content, that is to say, what you will be studying in this course. Let's look at the table of contents in the textbook. Textbook is available online. And let's go to the table of contents in the textbook and look at the chapters that we will be discussing. The course is divided into 14 chapters or modules. So let's look at each one of those modules. Module 1 is where we are now, the course introduction. Then in the next module is where we really get into it. We do the introduction to virtualization. We discuss what is virtualization, why should you use virtualization, and we look at the components of a virtual network infrastructure, specifically virtual machines, virtual disks, and virtual switches. In Chapter 3, we create virtual machines, we configure virtual machines, we get them up and running. In Chapter 4, we see that vCenter Server is a centralized server that allows us to configure a large number of ESXi hosts. And then we jump to Chapter 14, and we just do the first half of Chapter 14, where we look at the installation of ESXi host, vCenter Server, and vSphere Client. The reason we do Chapter 14 earlier in the course is so you can install your own small, miniature virtualized network infrastructure in your own lab, which you may have set up at home or at work, which is something I encourage you to do. Chapter 5, we look at virtual networks, configuring virtual switches, and setting up virtual switches. Chapter 6, we look at virtual storage, storage area network, virtual disks, and the VMFS virtual machine file system data store. Chapter 7, we look at configuring virtual machines, creating templates, cloning virtual machines, creating snapshots, and creating vApps. In Chapter 8, we look at data protection and backups. We look at traditional backups, and we see how traditional backups are different from doing backup in a virtualized environment, and we look at the data protection appliance. In Chapter 9, we discuss security. services, firewall, authentication and authorization, and vShield endpoint. In Chapter 10, we discuss resource management and monitoring, allocating resources to virtual machines, creating resource pools, monitoring resource utilization. In other words, determining is a virtual machine operating at 10% capacity, in which case there's nothing to worry about, or is it at 99% capacity and we better do something. And lastly, we look at alarms. In Chapter 11, we look at a high availability and fault tolerance. We look at ESXi host fault tolerance, virtual machine fault tolerance, and data store fault tolerance. In Chapter 12, we use scalability and load balancing. We see how the distributed resource scheduler can be used to load balance across many ESXi hosts, and we create affinity rules. Chapter 13, updates and patch management. We use the vSphere Update Manager to download updates, to scan ESXi hosts, and to apply those updates. And then we come back and do the second half of Chapter 14. We review installation, and then we look at advanced installation methods. 14 modules, which we will pretty much do sequentially, except we do the first half of Chapter 14 earlier in the class, because I know many of you want to get your own vSphere labs set up on your own computers. We will be covering pretty much following closely everything that's in the textbook. However, for additional information, you can go to pubs.vmware.com and you'll see the vSphere 5 Documentation Center has greater detail on everything that is in our course. In fact, lots of material that's not in our course, everything you ever want to know about VMware vSphere. Now let's look at the format of the course. That is what you will be doing each week. Now this is an online course, but it's pretty much taught the same way that a face-to-face in-person classroom course is taught. Before class, you read the textbook, which is available online. Then you go to class and you watch the lecture, watch the demonstration. In this case, going to class is just watching the video of me covering the material. And when I do these videos, I do them just the same way that I would teach any other class. I stand up in front of the classroom, as I am now, and I cover the material just like I do on Monday and Wednesday nights. After watching the videos, you do the hands-on exercises either on your own server, if you can set one up, or use one of the college servers, and then do the weekly quiz. You get 3 tries on each one of these quizzes, and they are open book quizzes. Grading. Weekly quizzes are 10% of your grade, so each quiz is worth less than 2% of your entire grade. Then you've got a midterm exam and a project. The project is based upon the hands-on exercises. If you've done the hands-on exercises, the project will be a breeze. And then the last thing is the final exam. To take the final exam, you have to come into the College Testing Center. It's the only thing in this course that requires you to come into the college. If anybody has any questions about anything, please contact me, Dr. Dan, D. Whitaker at ccbcmd.edu, and I will respond as quickly as possible. In summary, the purpose of the course is to enable the student to install, configure, manage, maintain, and troubleshoot a virtual network infrastructure using VMware vSphere. Each week, you read the textbook, watch the video, do the hands-on exercises, and then do the weekly quiz. What next? The next thing you should do is log on to Blackboard. Of course, you already are logged on to Blackboard. Introduce yourself to the class. Purchase the textbook online. Read Chapter 2, what they call Module 2. Log on to Blackboard and watch the video of me covering Chapter 2. Then either on one of the college servers or one of your own servers, log on and do the hands-on exercises to practice the stuff. And then take the online quiz on Blackboard. If anybody has any questions about anything, please email me. Otherwise, this concludes Module 1, Course Introduction. Thank you very much.